The wind moves across the Highland hills, carrying whispers of the past. Stones that have watched centuries pass still stand silent, holding secrets of love, war, and time itself. For years, we've followed the heartbeat of a story that crossed lifetimes. A story that began with a single touch on cold stone and a leap through the ages. Now, that journey is reaching its final chapter. Outlander is returning one last time for the end of an era. And the beginning of forever. It started with a woman out of place and out of time. Claire Randall, a nurse from the 1940s, stepped through the standing stones and into a world she could never have imagined. A world of clans and battles, loyalty and betrayal, where every decision came with the weight of history. In that world, she met Jamie Fraser, the man who would become her heart's anchor through centuries of chaos. Their story was never simple. It was a love forged in fire, tested by war, and carried by time itself. From the mist-covered Scottish Highlands to the wild frontiers of the New World, their journey has taken us beyond what we see, into what we feel. Every season drew us deeper into their struggle, not just to survive, but to hold on to each other. Through rebellion, heartbreak, and loss, they showed us what it means to love against all odds. Outlander became more than a story of time travel. It became a reflection of human strength, of how love can outlast even the cruelest moments in history. The battles they fought were not just with swords and muskets, but with fate and destiny. They lived through centuries that wanted to break them apart. Yet somehow, they always found their way back to each other. As years passed, we grew with them. We felt the rush of first love, the ache of separation, and the comfort of reunion. Each season gave us glimpses of who we are: fragile, brave, hopeful, and human. And now, as the final season approaches, those memories rise again like echoes through time. The same stones that once pulled Claire through will soon mark the closing of their journey. But endings have a way of becoming beginnings. Outlander's story has never been just about time travel. It's about finding home not in a place, but in a person. Claire found hers in Jamie, and Jamie found his in her. Across years, across centuries, their love became timeless. That's what makes this final season more than just an ending. It's a farewell to souls who reminded us that even when the world changes, love remains the same. There are stories that fade when the credits roll, and then there are stories that stay, long after the screen goes dark. Outlander belongs to the second kind. It did not just tell us a tale. It pulled us into a heartbeat that echoed across centuries. Every episode carried the pulse of history, the weight of choices, and the spark of a love that refused to surrender. From the moment Claire first opened her eyes in 18th century Scotland, something changed in television forever. The mist, the music, the clash of past and present, they became a world that felt alive. It wasn't fantasy. It was memory brought to life. We watched battles that shaped nations, but what stayed with us were the quiet moments between two souls caught between times. Outlander taught us that courage isn't loud sometimes, it's just choosing to love in a world built to separate you. The show became a bridge between what was and what could be. Its landscapes weren't just beautiful. They were characters in their own right. The Highlands breathed with their own soul. The colonies whispered of dreams and danger. Each scene held the rhythm of time itself, slow, unstoppable, and full of meaning. Through all of it, Claire and Jamie became more than characters. They became symbols of endurance, of love that doesn't break when tested, but deepens. Across 8 seasons, millions found pieces of themselves in this story. Some saw their strength in Claire's defiance. Others found hope in Jamie's loyalty. Together, they showed us that even when the world changes, the heart remembers. Their love made us believe in something beyond reason, that connection can outlive time, and that destiny listens when the heart speaks. As we stand on the edge of the final season, that legacy feels heavier than ever. It's not just the end of a show, it's the closing of a world we've lived in for a decade. The faces, the voices, the music that carried us through storm and silence, they are all part of us now. Outlander is no longer just a story told on screen. It's a memory we carry, a feeling that time itself could never erase. And soon, as the final chapter unfolds, the stones will call once more, not just for Claire and Jamie, but for us. To remember, to feel, and to say goodbye to the story that taught us that love, like time, never truly ends. Every great story reaches a moment when silence feels heavier than words. That's where Outlander stands now, on the edge of its final horizon. The world Claire and Jamie built is changing once again. The echoes of war grow louder, the pull of time grows stronger, and fate waits like a shadow that cannot be outrun. The final season is not just another chapter, it's the reckoning of every choice they've made, every promise kept, and every loss that shaped them. The revolution brews in America, where freedom demands a price that few are willing to pay. Families are torn, loyalties tested, and even love begins to feel the weight of time's cruel pull. Claire and Jamie are no longer the same people who met beneath the Scottish sky. They have carried lifetimes of grief, of sacrifice, of fire and forgiveness. Yet somehow, their hearts still beat together, even when the world tries to tear them apart. This time, their greatest enemy is not war or betrayal, it's time itself. The more they fight to stay together, the closer they come to the moment when destiny must take its due. The stones that once opened the door to love may now demand one final crossing. Will it be an ending or another beginning? That is the mystery that waits beyond the mist. Season 8 is not just about survival. It's about legacy. The battles fought, the blood spilled, the moments whispered in the dark, all of it leads here to one last stand between love and loss, between what was and what must be. Every frame, every word, every heartbeat will carry the weight of goodbye. As the final season approaches, we can feel it, that quiet ache that comes when a story we love begins to fade into memory. But Outlander has never been about endings. It's been about the courage to keep believing in something eternal, even when time says it's impossible. So when the final episode arrives and the screen fades to black, it won't just be the end of a show. It will be a farewell to a world that dared to ask the question we all fear to face: what would you sacrifice for love that defies time? And in that answer, Outlander will find its forever. Some stories don't end. They linger like the scent of rain on old stone, or a voice that still calls your name long after it's gone. Outlander was never just about where or when. It was about who we become when love rewrites the meaning of time. And now, as the final season rises, that love stands once more at the edge of forever. We have watched Claire and Jamie fight, fall, and find each other through the impossible. We've seen them lose everything and still choose to hope. We've seen them age not in years, but in memories. Together, they built a life into worlds, and somehow, both worlds belong to them. That is the power of their story, not that it lasted through time, but that it made time itself feel human. The final season will not simply close a door. It will open something inside us, a space where their voices will always echo. The sound of wind over the highlands, the touch of a hand that defies centuries, the promise whispered in every goodbye: I will find you. Those words are no longer theirs alone. They belong to all of us who have loved, waited, and believed in something beyond the limits of reason. When the curtain falls and the stones stand silent once more, Outlander will not fade away. It will live in the hearts of those who saw themselves in its courage. In every moment of heartbreak and every spark of hope, we were there, walking beside them through fire and time. This is not the end of Claire and Jamie. It's the beginning of their legend. A story written not on pages or screens, but in the quiet corners of memory where love refuses to die. Outlander taught us that time is not our enemy, it is the witness to everything we are brave enough to hold on to. So as we say goodbye, we don't mourn the end. We celebrate the journey. Because love like theirs doesn't fade, it only changes form. The final season is coming, and with it, one last promise: that the story we loved will never truly leave us. It will echo softly but endlessly through time. There's a moment before every ending when the world seems to hold its breath. The fire burns low, the wind falls quiet, and time itself pauses, waiting for the final word. That is where Outlander stands now. Not at the edge of a cliff, but at the edge of eternity. For 8 seasons, we've followed a story that defied the rules of time. We watched two souls become each other's destiny, not because fate demanded it, but because love chose it. Claire and Jamie were never just characters. They were reminders that even in the chaos of war, love can be a refuge. Even when centuries divide us, hope can still find a way. The final season is not only a goodbye, it's a thank you. A thank you to the hearts that believed, the eyes that watched, the voices that whispered. One more episode. It's a farewell to nights spent traveling through time with them, to tears we didn't expect, and to smiles that stayed long after the credits faded. The story may end, but the emotion that will linger like the sound of bagpipes echoing over the Highlands. Some will say it's the end of a show. But for those who've walked this journey, it's something more. It's the closing of a bond between story and soul. Outlander gave us a window into history, but it also gave us a mirror showing who we are when we love without fear. It showed us that bravery is not in fighting battles, but in holding on to someone when the world falls apart. As the final chapter unfolds and the stones stand still one last time, we'll remember the nights of fire, light, and rain, the vows whispered in the dark, the faces that became home. Because stories like Outlander don't truly end, they transform into memory, into legend, into something that time itself can't erase. So when the final words are spoken and the screen fades to black, don't say goodbye, just listen. You'll still hear them, the heartbeat of the Highlands, the whisper of her name, the promise that began it all. I will find you, and maybe, somewhere beyond time they already have. The sky fades to gray, and the wind whispers through the stones once more. Every journey finds its stillness, every love story its legend. Claire and Jamie have walked through centuries to reach this moment, the moment when time stands still to honor what they've built. The echoes of their laughter, their pain, their promise all drift across the hills like memories that refuse to die. This is not an ending carved in sorrow, but one written in love. Because when a story is strong enough, it doesn't vanish. It becomes part of us. Outlander has become that, a memory stitched into the fabric of every heart it touched. The final season is coming. The last sunrise over the Highlands. The last heartbeat of a love that conquered time. But even as the curtain falls, one truth remains unbroken: love. Real love never ends. It only changes shape. It becomes a whisper, a feeling, an echo that time cannot silence. As the mist rises and the world holds its breath, a single voice carries through the centuries: I will find you. The screen fades to black. The stones stand silent once more, and the legend of Outlander becomes forever. Fade in. Outlander, the final season. Coming soon. Soft bagpipes fade out. The mist returns to the Highlands, wrapping the land in quiet memory. The stones stand untouched, unchanged, yet filled with the weight of every moment that passed between them. Time moves on, but it never truly leaves. It carries the echoes of every promise, every heartbeat, every soul that dared to love beyond reason. Outlander's story may be closing, but its spirit lives in the hearts of those who believed in it. The courage of Claire, the honor of Jamie, the unbroken bond that defied centuries, all of it remains. We carry it forward, not as watchers, but as witnesses to a love that proved stronger than time. There will be no grand farewell, no curtain call, just the sound of the wind over the heather and the whisper of a name spoken softly into the dusk. Because legends don't vanish, they rest. They wait. They live again in the hearts that remember. So as the final season begins, we return one last time to where it all started. To the stones, to the Highlands, to the love that changed everything. The story may end, but its echo will never fade. Outlander, the final chapter, the end of a journey and the beginning of forever.